This is called a Turkish spindle. Sometimes it's referred to as a cross arm spindle. And this is my absolute favorite type of spindle to spin with. My name is Evie. Welcome. And, oh yeah, I make yarn. Subscribe for a spinning tutorial every Tuesday and fiber fun on Fridays. First of all, I would like to give a huge shout out to the maker of the spindle and also a huge thank you. This is a beautiful spindle. It is from Jessica Harrod with her company Whittling Away. And as of right now, she's working to get her business up and going. So as soon as I have links to her shop, I will put them into the description. It's February 2020 right now, so if you're visiting this video in the future, hopefully you'll be able to check out her shop. This model that she has made is called Neil. It came with a name, and I just love that. This is Neil. Isn't he adorable? He's adorable. And then another huge thank you and shout out to Carrie with I Love Sheep Thrills, and I see what she did there. I love it. I'm a big fan of those puns because I'm a big dork. She raises Finn sheep, and she was able to show me the pictures of the fleas, and then she cleaned this up for me and prepped it and sent it, and it is just beautiful. I have to tell you that I love, love, love working with Finn sheep. It is a very, very soft fiber. This is what she sent me. This is from a sheep named Hastings. I think she said Captain Hastings, so we have to include his title, Captain. And it's so beautiful. I have spun several fleeces worth of Finn sheep. I made a giant blanket out of Finn sheep wool before, and it's like the perfect fiber. I would argue that there shouldn't be such a thing, but then I could also argue that Finn sheep is where it's at because it's soft. You can have it next to the skin. It is also just, it has a perfect staple length. It's not too long, not too short. It's lustrous. It's great, and it has natural colors. What more could you want, really? All right, let's get started with the spindle. This is what a Turkish spindle looks like, and they come apart, which makes them great because they are very easily transportable. The arms of the spindle have a hole in the middle, of course, that's for the shaft to go through, but then one of the arms also has a cutout for the other arm to fit through. And then you just line up the hole together and it goes onto the shaft. When you are figuring out the shaft, just look for the part that's thicker, and that'll be the bottom. So it doesn't fall off to the floor, and there it is, ready to spin with. The other really, really cool thing about a Turkish spindle is because of the way the arms are attached to the shaft, it allows you to create a center pole ball as you spin. So I'll show you what that looks like and how to wrap it so that you have an easy to ply center pole ball when you're finished. We need to start our spin, but we don't have a leader. When I spindle spin, I don't start with a ready-made leader like I do on my bobbins on my spinning wheel. I actually just make my own leader to get started on a spindle, and that's fairly simple. So let me show you how I do that. I'll take the end where it's already starting to draft out, and I will just give it some twist, just like that, and start to draft. And right now what I'm doing is creating yarn, probably the very first way anyone ever figured out that they could create yarn, which was to twist it in their hand. And then probably later that day they figured out they needed a whirl somewhere to put the yarn as it built up. Once you have given it enough twist, I flip the spindle upside down. I make a half hitch and put it over the bottom, and then I make another half hitch and put it over the bottom. I just want it to be secure on there, but I don't want it to be an actual knot. That will come apart when I'm ready for it to come apart. And then I bring the fiber up the shaft, and then around, and then a half hitch on the top. So I just put my thumb around and then slip it over. So the working part of the yarn is on the bottom of that little half hitch slip knot, and it catches itself. Now I'm ready to go. To spin with the Turkish spindle, I grab the top and I give it a flick, like just a flick like that. And off we go. So you don't want your twist to come up into your fiber supply. So I'm keeping it pinched off right here so that the twist stays in this portion. So I draft a little, run my fingers up, draft a little more until it's the thickness I want it to be. Run my fingers up, draft a little more, run my fingers up. Now, when I get to the point that I'm ready to wind onto my spindle, like I am right now, I'm going to hold my fiber supply, and then I'm going to come under and around with my thumb and finger, and that gives me a little butterfly so that it comes up close to the spindle and I won't have tangles. So I undo my hitch here, and then I wind on. And the way that I'm going to wind on to my spindle, this is called a kop, or it's also called a turtle if it's a Turkish spindle, because it looks like a turtle once it starts to build up. A little turtle shell with legs, and the arms of the spindle are the legs sticking out, and it's kind of adorable. So I'm gonna come over two of the arms and under one of the arms, over two of the arms and under one of the arms, and that is going to build up my kop, or my turtle. And then get it back on the top of the spindle, and there we go. If you want to preview what your yarn will look like, which is to pull it out in half, let it ply on itself, and then take a look to see if this is the yarn that you want it to be. And I'm very happy with this yarn. I think that's lovely. Make sure that your fiber supply doesn't get caught on the single that you're spinning, because if you see how this is coming down and up like this will start to get caught in there, and then suddenly the whole fiber supply is getting all twisted up in the yarn that I'm spinning, and it just makes a mess. So I have built up this beautiful kop on here, and it looks like a turtle. See the little turtle legs, and it's my little turtle. I'm still doing the over two, under one as I go, but let me get this nice and close, and I'll show you when you do the over two, under one pattern, you come to a point where it's full and you need to start the next layer. And I'm gonna go over two, and as you can see, the one I've just laid down is going up against the shaft. It's this piece right here, and it's going up against the shaft and then under one. And now I'm gonna bring it up so it's laying over the top of the pattern that I have just done most recently, under one. And I'll continue that going up next to the shaft, and this is what is starting my next layer. To get it this organized, there are times when I will scoot it and line it up with my fingernail just to get it all tucked up in there. I'm going to come back around to where one is already laid down, so I'm going to lay this one right next to it, and then under one. And so now I have the pattern established, so each time I lay it down, I'm going to lay it next to the one that was there before. And as I keep going and I keep laying it down, it's going to build up and build up and build up. So let me spin just a smidge more. And that is going to keep building up my next layer. This is one of the neatest features of a Turkish spindle, and it's partly why I love spinning on them so much. You can take the shaft out. Now you want to keep track of the end from where you started it on the bottom. And I'll just scoot that up as I go. Scoot that up. So now I have removed the shaft. Next, I remove the arm that goes into the slot for the other arm, so I'll take that arm out. And then I will slide the whole thing off the larger arm. Out it comes, and look at this. I have a center pull ball. I'm holding the bottom, that's the leader that I had started with, and then the top is the end of the spin where I finished spinning. And I'm going to put those together, and this is how I create the next part of my leader. I lay the two out together and then I let them twist. It will start the ply. There's a little half hitch and another half hitch. And that is secure, ready to go. And then I have a little length going already right here. So I will do the same over 2, under 1, over 2, under 1, over 2, under 1. I just spent all this time spinning by flicking it like this. But I can't do that because we're plying. I have to go the other way. So now I'm going to have to twist it like this. But honestly, that's okay. It doesn't need as much twist to ply because you're taking the twist out of what you've already done and it's cutting it in half, so to speak. So you don't need as much twist. You don't need as much of a momentum to get you through it. So I do my stronger twist. That's the spinning direction I go for my singles, and then I use the weaker twist, the backwards twist, to do the plying. So there we go. And then it's just, show you my hand here. So I'm letting it feed out of the center pull ball as the twist brings it together. To check if you are spinning a balanced yarn, you can hold it together and see if you have too much twist in your length of plied yarn. Then what you want to do is let more out of your center pull ball faster, and that will balance it out. If you don't have enough twist, then obviously you're going to have to give it some more twist before winding it on to the spindle. And I'll do the same pattern with my ply. I'll just go over 2, under 1. It will be very obvious where your mistakes are on a Turkish spindle because of the way it's wound. You can see the layers below it, what came before, and as you line it up next to each row, you can see if your thickness, your diameter of your yarn is matching what came before. Of course, I've also spun on a Turkish spindle where I've just let it go nuts and it's been a very textured yarn that I didn't care about the consistency because sometimes that's what I want too. Here is the yarn that I spun on the spindle. It is so fuzzy and soft. I'm not sure what project I'll be using this in yet, but I think it's probably going to be an accent for some color work. I will spin up the rest of the brown. It's just such a naturally lustrous yarn and a great earthy color. So I think it's going to be beautiful in a future project. I hope that you learned some tips or tricks that will help you out with your spindle spinning. If you have any for me that I didn't mention or maybe I don't know and could benefit from, leave them in the comments below. Make sure that you're subscribed if you haven't subscribed and you like yarn and spinning and all kinds of fiber fun. On Friday, I will be uploading a video where I talk about trying to match this yarn that I spun on the spindle with yarn that I spin on my spinning wheel. It's gonna be a little challenge and we'll see how that goes, but that should be part of the Fiber Fun Friday video. I hope I will see you again very soon. Happy spinning!